Something you mentioned there, Thomas, triggered a thought in me, which is that, and we're seeing this a lot in our cyber resilience projects, not just sovereignty projects actually, but just in general, is taking this kind of risk-based approach to these projects. So really taking a step back to, number one, think about the preferred risk posture of the organisation. I'm lucky enough in my role that I work with Formula One racing teams and local government organisations. They have a completely different attitude to risk. And that matters, right? The way we define how much risk we want to take matters down the line. But then also going through a few scenarios and working out, okay, well, what are the things we're concerned about? Is it Microsoft giving our data away to a government or something? And if we are concerned about that, what's the right mitigation strategy for that based on our preferred risk posture? Maybe that's a risk we're prepared to take, or maybe it's a risk we share, or maybe it's a risk we mitigate, in which case we encrypt heavily, So I think taking that risk-based approach is really key in these sorts of projects.
Absolutely. I'm happy you bring this up. It really becomes this risk management part. And we had this sovereignty summit in Brussels a few months back where we basically showed exactly that approach, right? At one point, there is always, with doing certain things, there are always trade-offs, and you need to know what the trade-offs are, right? And again, what is the thing I want to address and how do I mitigate it is super critical in this world. And again, you also want to make sure that, like, hey, there's maybe things you want to mitigate, but they probably open up other risks as well. When you look at the cloud, what terms of security the cloud can offer, do I really want to see that this all gone? Is that a risk I want to take? Or how can we address this, right? And I think we have good solutions to help also in hybrid environments and so on to address that, or disconnected environments. But still, people need to understand that, again, as you said, there's a lot of risk assessment which needs to be done. And I love that. I love this conversation. That is when you realize you're on the right path, is when you start talking about these risk management scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing also architecturally a lot of be careful what you wish for. So we saw, when cloud computing first started to see its way into the enterprise, there was a lot of reticence, particularly from the security community, around moving things to the cloud and the risks associated with that. I think we've seen a pivot over the past few years of, well, actually, if you put something in the cloud and you've gone to the effort of leveraging, an Azure security control, etc., and then later you retrospectively look back and go, well, what would happen if we tried to build that on-prem? You might not want to have that conversation. That's probably going to be very expensive. You're not going to get the economies of scale that you would in the cloud. And so I see a lot of CISOs, shifting their mindsets a little bit in that regard now.